Welcome back to the channel, my brothers. My name's Andy R, and this is the Brotherhood of Men, a channel solely dedicated at getting you men out there a better outcome. Now, today's video is my trifecta, if you like, on dating single mothers and why I think you shouldn't do it. Have nothing to do with them. Don't get involved. Now, I'm not telling you not to sleep with them. I'm just telling you not to have a relationship with them, because some of these single mothers truly are beautiful, absolutely stunning looking, and we men are attracted to beauty. So your natural instinct is, oh yeah, I want to go to bed with her. But your natural instinct, I think, should also be, I don't want to date her though. I don't want to have a long-term relationship with her, and I certainly don't want to marry her. Now, I have already covered baby mamas and widows in that pyramid, that trifecta of single motherhood. There's one I haven't covered yet, and that's divorcees. Now, the bottom of that totem is single mothers. Is baby mamas. The bottom of the totem is baby mamas. The top of the totem is widows. And I've said this many times, and it's still true. That is the one category I have the most sympathy for, because they didn't ask to be single mothers. They didn't choose to be single mothers. It was forced upon them through tragic circumstances. And that's why I have the most sympathy for them, and I feel the sorriest that they're in that position. But still, I say, don't get into a relationship with them, because they still have all of the problems that dating a single mother has, but also they have other problems on top of it, which I covered in the video, widows. Anyway, today's video is not about them. Today's video is about divorcees. So why do I say have nothing to do with single mothers who are divorcees? For the simple reason, almost the glaringly obvious fact, that they're proving in the fact that they're divorcees that they can't, one, pick a man correctly, and two, cannot stay in a long-term relationship. Now, why would I say that? Well, statistics bail me out. Between around about 70% of all divorces are instigated by women. So that's a woman in the marriage who has decided she wants a divorce and instigates it, goes to the courts to get them involved in her marriage. She's also got children in tow. Now, we know by statistics that the best outcome for any child is them to be raised in a two-parent household, a mother and a father. Loving relationship, stable. A child raised in that environment will do the best by outcome, because that's the only metric we can judge anything, is the outcome of what happens. And the outcome for children who are brought up in a two-parent mother-father household in a stable relationship all the way to adulthood has the best outcomes. The best educationally, the most likely to go to university, etc., to get a higher degree. The best, least likely to end up involved with the police, the court system and prison, less likely to have mental health issues, less likely to have drug or alcohol problems, basically across, and also fittest. Across the board, the best outcome is boys and girls who are brought up in a loving relationship with a mother and a father. So that we know is the best outcome. But a woman then decides to break that household up and become a single mother. She was in a relationship, married. She decided, because 70% of divorces are instigated by women, so majoritively speaking, women are the ones who have decided to break up the best thing for her child. Now she's looking for a replacement for a man she married. You could be that replacement. She has all of the problems that already come with being a single mother and dating a single mother, which are, you won't be her top priority. She's looking out for her child well before you. You don't even come in probably the top 10 ranking of priorities for her. All of those things I've covered in Don't Date Single Mothers. But I'm talking specifically today about divorcees. So what red flag number one, she is a divorcee. That's without the child there. She is a divorcee, proving you the fact that she can't manage a long-term relationship, can't do the hard work to make it work. And it is hard work. A marriage is absolutely a hard work, as is a long-term relationship, because you both have to work at it. Whereas a woman who's decided to divorce her husband for whatever reason, remember this fact, she chose that man, even if he turned out to be an absolute monster, and they will all tell you that the reason they're divorced is he was a monster. Well, they can't all be monsters. Not every marriage, 50% of marriages end in divorce. 50% that were all picking monsters. I don't think so. But that's what they'll tell the court. They will quite happily perjure themselves in court and say that he did this, that and the other against me or the children, simply so that they can make sure they get custody and become a divorcee single mother. All of these should be red flags to you. To say, yes, she's attractive, she's good looking, etc., etc. I want to go to bed with her, but I don't want to have a relationship with her, which is what this video is about, and why, the reasons. Now, having said that, let's just go over a few little statistics here. Number one, more women who get divorced and are single mothers, or just divorcees, not single mothers, just divorcees, are dying alone. Far more than used to be, and the reason being is because they think to themselves, it's going to be so much better for me now I'm single. I'll be able to date here, do this, have my total freedom, I answer to no one, don't have a husband anymore. And the sad reality is, yes, they can date, yes, they can jump into bed with left, right and centre with guys, but more guys are rejecting them for any long-term relationship, and I say good. That's guys waking up and doing the wise thing. So they end up alone earlier than... Now, women do tend to die alone, because another statistic is women generally across the world in all societies do tend to live longer than men. I think the main reason of that is men do the more dangerous jobs. So men are putting themselves in harm's way all the time. And if they get to retirement age and get to old age, we are quite simply knackered. We're worn out. Our bodies give up on us quicker than a woman does, because a woman probably hasn't had to do all of those hard, manual, dirty, disgusting, harmful jobs which affect a man later in life, and therefore he dies sooner. Now that means that the woman's left on her own, and obviously she dies alone. That statistic is indisputable. But women are finding themselves on their own earlier now, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, all the way up to, when the Grim Reaper comes knocking on the door. And the reason that is because they no longer are in those long-term relationships, or end those long-term relationships by divorce. 70% of divorces instigated by women. So you see, they're ending up alone earlier, and they're coming to the realization after the divorce. This is why so many women, you ask after divorce, do they regret getting divorced and would they get back with their ex-husband? A high percentage of them in these surveys saying yes, they regret the divorce, and yes, they wish they could get back with their husband. But a lot of them don't get back with their husband because the husbands woke up and say, hey, you didn't want me that time. What's to stop you from not wanting me 10 years down the line? No, I'm moving on with my life. And also, you accused me of all these horrible things in the divorce so that you could get custody of the kids. Or you accused me of all these horrible things in the divorce court just so you could get more of my assets. Why on earth would I ever want to go back to that? You're quite frankly evil. And that's just divorcees. That's not taking in the child as well. So now we're talking about divorcees who are single mothers. So one, they've proven the fact that they can't do the hard work, they can't put in the effort, they can't literally put themselves out to make sure that the child has the best outcome. Although she'll tell you that's her number one priority, and rightly it should be. but it's also the father's number one priority. So you've got all of that dealing with the ex and all the rest of it, maybe legal battles going on about custody and such like. Why would you want to get yourself involved in any of that? You wouldn't. You're a sensible man. So yeah, sleep with them. Make sure you bag up though, because if you don't bag up, she's already proven that she's quite happy to have children. You could be on the hook for the next 18 years if you don't make sure every single time you bag up your todger and it's condoms you brought. Do not rely on anybody's woman's condoms when they bring them out and say, don't worry, I've got condoms. Yeah, have they been doctored? I don't know. You know what the condoms are that you brought, so use them. This was a piece of advice given by I think it was National Football League coach, who said to all of his players, he said, look, yeah, you're going to end up sleeping with these women, but wear a condom, make sure you brought it and flush it down the toilet afterwards, because there was already stories of women hooking those condoms out the wastebasket and using the semen inside to self-impregnate and then getting the man on the hook because the DNA showed it was his. So make sure you do the same thing. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for you, my brothers. Make sure it's the condom you brought and flush it afterwards. Don't throw it in a bin where it can be got. Make sure it's got rid of. I'll even go as far as put it in your pocket and throw it away when you get home. It sounds horrible and gross, but you know, you don't want to be on the line. So, divorcees. Now, let's go through the little scenario of how chaotic and how emotion-driven women are. How they make their decisions purely on emotion. I feel, not I think. Let's go through that with divorcees. So she's a single woman. She's probably late teens, early 20s. And she's like, oh, I'm not happy. I'm bored. I want a boyfriend. So she goes out, she does the dating thing, she ends up with a boyfriend, somebody who puts up with her, thinks she's wonderful. She's like, oh, this is great, for a while. It's great. It's emotional roller coaster, it's up and down. Oh, I've got the tingly feelings, I've got the itchy coochie, I've got the tingly nips. Oh God, you know, it's so new, so wonderful. And then it settles down into something a little more stable, because that's what men like, stable. But a woman is an agent of chaos. She's emotion driven. Her estrogen is constantly telling her to move things forward. She's like a shark, constantly moving. If I stop, I die. If I don't make changes, I die. I have to keep moving. So, after a while, things settle down and she goes, I'm bored. I'm not happy. I want to get married. So she convinces the guy through hints and tips on how much his life is going to be even more settled and even better for him if they got married, how they could build a home together, maybe have children. And of course, a guy likes a settled life. He likes things to be the status quo, and he thinks that's a great idea. So he takes the hint, he buys a ring, he gets down on his knees and he pledges fealty to her. Will you marry me? He says. And of course, all the roller coaster ride of up to the wedding day, how things are got to be organised. Oh, it suits her chaotic life because she's the centre of attention. She's got all these people throwing their attention to her, telling her, you need this, you need that, you've got to get this, you've got to get that. Oh, and she's the centre, and she knows that day is going to come where everybody's looking at her. The guy's completely forgotten all of this ceremony. All he has to do is stand there and go, I do, and he has to say, yes, dear, when she says, I want 1,000 swans released at my wedding, or I want it done in a hot air balloon with all of my guests in hot air balloon. Whatever crazy nonsense she comes up with, he's just expect there to flip out his wallet and go, yes dear. So he's really superfluous to even the ceremony. Women often say it, you just need to turn up. Really? That's what you think a marriage is? So all of that chaos happening up to that point, she's entertained. She's no longer bored. This seems fantastic. And then she's going to be married. A guy's going to give you 100% of his attention. It's going to be wonderful. So she gets married. And then things settle down into something a little bit more mundane, a little bit more settled. There's a Chinese curse that says, may you live in interesting times. Basically, interesting times are when things have gone wrong, when there's chaos. Interesting times when there's plague, flood, famine, disease, all of the horsemen of the apocalypse are riding. That's what interesting times mean. When things are boring, it's because they're settled, peaceful. And a woman can't seem to exist in settled, peaceful. She needs the drama, the emotion, the chaos. And that's how she makes her thoughts. So after a short amount or a period of time of settled, too settled, she's had too long with her own thoughts, to chaotic, emotional thoughts, that she does the, I'm bored and I'm not happy. I want a divorce. Do you see how the whole cycle from the beginning started? All because boredom and unhappy. And if you, in fact, a survey has shown the reason that most women get divorced was they were unhappy. Or they were bored. But unhappy is usually the reason they put it, because if they just said, I was bored, it would sound a little bit shallow. And it is shallow. 70% of divorces are instigated by women because they were unhappy. Oh, well, bless your cotton socks. Who told you happiness was in your future? Who told you that you deserved happiness? Who told you that happiness was even the state of mind that you could achieve? All the time you're chasing happiness and you're chasing away boredom. And now you've made your life chaotic. Well, no, sorry, there was one step before that. It was, things are settled, and then it was, I'm not happy, I'm bored, I want a kid. That was the one step before. I'm unhappy, I'm bored, I want a child. And so the roller coaster goes on again of emotions and chaos. She's going through pregnancy, or emotions everywhere. She's got the full attention of her a guy again who's going hell and high water to get her things that she says she needs. I am craving gooseberries out of season, and the only place you can get them is half a world away. And he will go to the world's end to try and please his woman, because that's what we do as men. We are natural providers, we're natural conquerors. We will do things to please a woman because it pleases us as well. And of course, she's your wife now, and she's having your child, and you've got to show some willing. You've got to put yourself out a little bit, haven't you? I mean, she's doing all the hard work. That's what you're told. So not the fact that she could only do all of this hard work and do the stuff because she was able to give up work, and you had to work even harder to provide. So no, none of that's taken into consideration. It's you're expected to do it. Get on with it. Stop whinging. See how it works? And then of course she gets settled again. She's got the kid, he's probably in school now, and it's, I'm bored, I'm not happy, I want a divorce. So now she has completely wrecked her own marriage, completely destroyed it, just because she was unhappy, just because she was bored. Never once did it enter into her mind that, hey, this is hard work. This is when I need to pull up my big girl pants and do the hard work to make this relationship, this marriage, actually work. She doesn't even think about the child. It's all about her. I'm bored. Not the best outcome for the child is if we stay together. We really need to work at this. We really need to do the hard work together to make this work. No, I'm bored. I'm unhappy. Let's completely wreck. Let's wreck the child's best outcome, and let's wreck this marriage and prove that I'm no good at relationships. So that's what she does. She ends up divorced. And now she hits the true reality. It's a mean, cruel, heartless, uncaring world out there when you're single. We men know this. We've been living it from the moment we were born. We realised early on, life isn't fair. Nobody told you life was going to be fair. Nobody sat you down and said, expect this in a fair life. No, we learnt early that you have to work bloody hard just to get a small amount of acknowledgement and reward. And you have to keep working at it to keep getting that small amount of acknowledgement and reward. We know this as men, but women have sailed through their lives in their 20s, especially if they're good looking. Men are throwing themselves at them and throwing resources at them, and they think that's what life's going to be from then to the grave. But they get a little bit older and start realising, hey, the magic money tree, the magic attention tree, the magic man tree, it died. It's no longer there. So now she's divorced and she's got a child. Well, a divorcee, you've already been proven the point that she can't work a long-term relationship, or she chooses really poorly. Because if she tells you this guy was a monster, just remember, keep in mind, she chose that monster. She chose to marry that monster. And in this scenario about single mothers, she chose to have a child with that monster. At no point was he a monster in any of those situations that she thought, I need to get away, he's a monster. No, it's always at the end when she's trying to bag another guy, is she telling them all of the stories that make her look good. Because the truth is, if she told the truth, I was bored and I was unhappy, she would be the monster. And women do not like looking bad. They don't like taking accountability or responsibility for their actions. And if you called her out on it, you're out having a coffee, getting to know her, and you're thinking, I want to get this woman into bed. And you say, well, so why did your marriage break down? Oh, he was an absolute monster. If you said to her, yeah, but you chose him, and you had a child with him. Really? Was he a monster? All of a sudden, oh no, you're the new monster now. She's telling friends, oh, it was a horrible day. It was the worst date I've ever been on. He was a terrible man. Oh, what did he do that was so terrible? He asked me questions that were uncomfortable. Do you see, guys? You see how it works? So this is why I say, do not date, have a long-term relationship, and God's sake, do not marry single mothers who are divorcees. You could be her next monster. Anyway, my name's Andy R. Tell me in the comments down below, do you believe everything I've said? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Do you know what I'm telling you is true? Leave it in the comments. Tell me, have you experienced this with divorcee single mothers? Also, if I've earned your subscription, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, and I hope I have, because although this channel is being choked by YouTube because I speak far too many truths to my brothers and tell them facts and statistics that they don't like, so they are choking the channel. But the way to stop that is if you share these videos, if you comment on these videos, please give the video a like at least. It costs you nothing. But tell another brother who's out there, who's going through this, who's probably dating a single mother who is a divorcee, or a baby mama, or a widow. Show him these videos and say, this is what you can expect. And it'll probably send off some light bulbs in their heads because they are already experiencing it. So share it. It's the way this channel is going to grow. Your subscriptions and the fact that I can get out to more men out there so that they can see this message. And I do want to grow this channel. And you men who have already subscribed to my channels, I can't say enough nice things about you. You have shown some true backbone and grit. You are the ones who, you humble me, to be honest with you. You make me feel so proud, and you are the guys who did that. You have shown your support and love for your brother, and all I can do is give it back by giving these videos and hopefully making content that you will get something out of, you will get some knowledge, insight from. So I just want to say thank you, brothers. You are the best, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'm going for a cup of tea because I think I've earned one. You brothers out there, you take care of yourself, because if you don't, who will? And I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.